or in the houses on the stage?
Yeah, that's where I stay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've been sleeping there.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Don't tell ENTITY7.
I won't.
They're so close. Here we go. Heading into our draft, we have Hoopa and Leafeon banned out. Interesting to see Leafeon banned out. We have seen it actually perform extremely well today. It feels like it's had some wild swings, but people who are amazing with Leafeon are doing really well, as Lapras is a first pick, and that Pokemon has been crushing it.
Oh, yeah. This is, I mean, Lapras has been the name of the game for the while. And actually, surprisingly, I mean, I guess there's just so many defenders here, but Slowbro, we're pretty far into this draft, and already we're not seeing any Slowbro. We've got the Umbreon and the Inteleon, the Eons, making some good work. I don't think Mewtwo is allowed, so that would be a very unfortunate pick. Let's see what we end up getting instead. Are we going to go to the Dodrio? Or, okay, that's been working very well, the Zoroark, especially looking at that last set. Great pick.
I think Mewtwo would have been a great choice right there. Now, I know it would have gotten him disqualified, but you know what? Play it out, see what happens. I would have loved to see it here on the main stage. As we're seeing the next two picks here from Makuro, they've got that Urshifu, they've got that Blissey. We've got just a whole list of power Pokemon on both of these teams. Nothing unexpected so far.
Right, now they're going to have to, I mean, they don't have to go that far down to get a defender. I'd be interested if we just completely see the Slowbro skipped in this set. This is a little bit interesting. I mean, hey, I do fully understand the full value of this Snorlax, but to choose it over a Slowbro in this spot, very surprising, I would say. Regardless, it's a great team comp. It's a very solid team comp. And now they're going to counter with DQing themselves.
Yeah, you got to bring that Mewtwo back out. Everybody wants to see it here on the big stage. Maybe bringing out Zacian. This is a interesting Pokemon, Zacian, because I didn't know if we'd have it see any play at Worlds. Obviously, it was dominant all season, but the question is who's going to bring it into a match? Is the fact that it really can't score and it can only fight, is that going to be a big enough hindrance? Well, it hasn't looked like it, as some teams have done very, very well with this Pokemon.
Same, yeah, especially the teams coming out of Asia. That region has really, really shown the strength of this Pokemon in a competitive fashion. I know a lot of the other regions have kind of written it off, and it's kind of shown when they've had to fight against a good one.
Yeah, we're going to send this thing on over to our casters here. Zoinks and Kello, take it away.
Thank you so much, you two, for breaking that one all down. I mean, I'm excited to watch this one, Kello. Two of the best teams in the entire world in a qualification match. It doesn't get better than this. Oh, wait, it does, because we got some adorable plushies in the crowd.
They are super duper adorable, but you know what? OYASUMI MAKURO, they are on the big stage. We know they have a lot of fans in the crowd. We have heard them. I myself am a fan, so I cannot wait to see this match.
Yeah, I know we had this game on the B stage before where OYASUMI MAKURO played against Kumu, but I was watching it there. It was an incredible game. Last minute heroics from this team, but truly, I want everyone to be aware of how good this Zacian from the side of OYASUMI MAKURO truly is. I mean, everyone's going to get to know here as we head into game number one.
So are you telling us that we need to brace for impact?
Yeah, that would be great. Seatbelts on, everybody. Make sure the airbag is in place because we are in for a fantastic matchup. Of course, if OYASUMI MAKURO can win this game, they are qualified for top 8 tomorrow. ENTITY7 looking to still keep their chances up if they can get this match win.
Yes, they need to try and keep their chances. We have that Kabu going in for that central area, but look at this. Sneaky little Snorlax going and trying to steal this blue buff, and look at that. Not even there to contest it, yoinks it, and now going to go for the Moltoy as well.
Wow, ENTITY7 did not bring out this strategy whatsoever against Kumu. Instead, going to be bringing in the central area invade Snorlax experience share for the little bit of movement speed as well to try to shut down this Urshifu. And, well, holding P up here at 4 is a really, really solid start to the match.
Oh, that is a solid start indeed. Making sure to go for a quick nap, regen that HP, and just try and delay this Kabu as much as possible.
Yeah, it actually takes a ton to actually rotate up to find the KO onto Snorlax there, so a whole lot of time given, and of course some early game presence. Now the Urshifu will finally be here, but before that fight, it actually allows Reggie to get the KO the other direction.
Oh, they get the KO, but look at this, the presence of this Zacian just freaks me out.
Yeah, the Sword Dog definitely an intimidating force, but wow, an Umbreon flank here to get a knockout. OYASUMI MAKURO now on the board as well as they get one score here in the bottom path, and the Umbreon showcasing why it is such a powerful pick right now.
Oh, definitely a powerful especially when it gets that level 4. You have them trying to battle it out. Snorlax trying to defend. Empty air there, but is going to find that invisible Drizzly there.
Yeah, some great spectacles there from Minato to be able to find that Drizzile. They're probably going to escape. Oh no! And a eject button with tackle actually gets the chase down, but a bit too much speed on that attacker to fully get knocked out in that situation.
Sorry, there's not one Zacian. There was 2 Zacians on the map there. The illusion.
Spraggles was right. They are terrifying. However, Reggie, I honestly like them in the Zoroark a little bit better. However, great little rotation by OYASUMI Makuro gets all of that experience for that 8-minute spawn of the Altaria Swablu. So a really good early game showing from them. However, Reggie is starting to work. They get a KO on Namame in the other direction, but he is trying to take this 1v1.
Oh, and look at this. We do have a liquidation Inteleon here, making sure to get these short hits. We have the heavy slam escape, but unfortunately it ends up getting taken down by the Urshifu.
Wow.
Nowhere to go in that fluff zone, right?
Absolutely. Too slow, too many dashes on cooldown in that situation. Reggie takes a whole lot of damage from the liquidation, but they are able to earn a lot of that back with some wild Pokemon knockouts. OYASUMI Makuro, I would say, probably favored in this first Reggie fight. However, we do have Reggie on this Zoroark who can really play spoiler.
Oh, they can play spoiler indeed, but you know what? We have 2 level 8s on the side of OYASUMI Makuro. No Unite moves on hand. I know, as I say that, we do have Urshifu that has locked it on down, but we have the 2 defenders just trying to ward off this Umbreon and create enough space for this Urshifu to solo this Reggie steal. Now they have some backup. Umbreon is just playing that bait, ends up getting taken down, but you know what? I think it was a sacrifice that was necessary.
Yeah, Mame going down in that situation is no big deal whatsoever for OYASUMI Makuro. They get that first objective, and not to mention Sui has been doing incredible work here in the top half. Zacian is already hit, that's right, level 10, double digits for them at this point in the game, as well as securing the Regieleki. They won a 1v1 versus Reggie in the top half, which really helped put them far forward.
Oh, but because they had no members there, we have the Regieleki that ends up moving on forward. They didn't even capitalize that. Instead, we have a Shifu that is just brawling on and out, trying to defend this pad from this Snorlax. And look at that, the Regieleki didn't actually provide anything helpful for OYASUMI Makuro there.
Yeah, not too much in terms of scoring Makuro. However, Blissey being caught out, Umbreon trying to play in the midst of 3 Pokemon from the side of ENTITY7, and in the end, they both just need to retreat. A lot of moves utilized there, though, and they have a lot of information about where the enemy's playing. And look at me on this Urshifu all the way into the enemy's central area already, trying to force Reggie out.
Yes, and the Lapras ends up getting taken down. Zoroark trying to get a pick here, is diving on in, uses their Unite move, has to quickly dash on out as we have Urshifu and Zacian here to try and take them on.
Oh, look at this macro play that OYASUMI Makuro brings to these team fights. We have a split push, right? Urshifu and Zacian in one side, and then Inteleon Umbreon on the other side. However, Lapras is starting to join this team, but ENTITY7 finally has a little bit of impact here in the bottom path, and Reggie finds another. A big Blissey knockout. Parashong is set up onto this Urshifu, and it capitalizes. ENTITY7 with a big team fight win here at the midpoint mark.
Oh, this is quite a good turnaround here, but we have Snorlax getting denied those 16 points. They need to take down this Umbreon. Inteleon is here for some backup, trying to get some KOs. Zoroark is super duper low. You do not want to get caught out right now. It is left on 3 points, but it ends up only being not much of an overcap, I think. Oh no, it was. 32 went in.
Yeah, 32 into a decently sized goal zone already, so not the biggest overdunk in the world, however, a whole lot of value. Tun does use the Unite move for this Inteleon. It's basically only going to earn a KO onto that Snorlax. However, a whole lot of early damage goes towards that Registeel, and a team that is favored around these objectives like OYASUMI Makuro is going to take that one quickly.
They are going to take it down quickly. Blissey trying to get in that dunk, but the Perish Song ends up stopping it. Now they are trying to make this push. They want to create that space. We have the Lapras Express being popped on out, but it didn't end up getting to use that surf.
Yeah, he actually jumping right in front of it to make sure that it only hit that individual target, and they also get the KO on Lapras. That's huge. However, Reggie's here, and they have a Unite move. Tries to engage onto one, but again, the healing from Blissey is so massive. ENTITY7 gets one, but it sure takes a lot of resources. The yawn into this Pokemon means that Blissey goes down. Great little play there. However, OYASUMI Makuro with a great rotation just sends Sweet up to 1v1 the Regieleki, and that's going to be headed towards that second tier goal zone.
Yes, the power, the shred, the that this Zacian has to be able to solo these Reggie Alekis and just create this pressure up in that top half.
Yeah, a lot of people, when we talk about this Zacian, the role ends up being debated quite a bit. Is this an objective shredder? Is this a tank Pokemon that focuses on defeating those tanks? Or is it just a great team fighter? And, well, it depends on the player and how they want to execute most often. You see them just auto-attacking in the tall grass, making sure that big fourth boosted auto is ready for any big team fight.
I feel like it's just ticked off all of those boxes that you just mentioned right there.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Actually, a cool little stat there from production. Zacian today has had a ban rate of only 12%, but a win rate of about 50%. So take it or leave it. As Pokemon either wins you games or it loses you games. That's how the world works.
Well, it hasn't been picked up very often, but I must say it's always a surprise being able to see it. But we do have OYASUMI Makuro making sure to just get some eyes, hiding that tall grass while they have some space to lock down these Swablu's and Ulterior.
Top path has been amazing for OYASUMI Makuro all game. However, bottom path, ENTITY7 has been able to shore up their defenses quite a bit. So they actually are holding on to a score lead. And with a rotation from Lapras towards that top path, they threaten to score 40, but it looks like OYASUMI Makuro reads that one and actually goes for the defense immediately.
They are going for the defense. We have 18 seconds left until that Razor Quasar does spawn, but Reggie still is here. Doesn't look like they are going to go and take it, instead opting for positioning.
Look at the positioning of Mame on this Umbreon in the enemy central area, hiding in the tall grass, trying to get as much vision as they possibly can. They only spot the Lapras, and currently OYASUMI Makuro has all of the positional advantage around this Rayquaza. They have both tall grasses spotted out, and they're really forcing ENTITY7 into this middle channel for this initial team fight. And here we go. Snorlax gets a big engage. Reggie drops the Unite move, but the Blitz Assistance ignores all that damage, and he starts off strong.
Oh my goodness, and now that Lapras is getting caught on down, it ends up getting taken out. There's only the Ninetales that is trying to run for its life, but we have Umbreon that is right on its tail. This leaves the space for the rest of 4 members of OYASUMI Makuro to lock down those Ray Shields.
Crowd goes wild for the hometown Japanese team to secure the biggest objective of the game. They do need to make sure they find some scores, but with no Pokemon that can do true damage or hit below those shields, it seems like they're going to be able to rack up a pretty large lead. ENTITY7's been in situations like this before today already, though, but OYASUMI Makuro is holding on to this lead tightly.
Oh, they are holding on to it very tightly, considering 4 members of ENTITY7 are down. It's only the Lapras here trying to defend this home base, but we still have Zacian with the shield and 29 points on hand.
OYASUMI Makuro finally here on the main stage, showing why they have earned such a huge reputation from their region. Taking down ENTITY7 here. I mean, there is 40 seconds left in the match. Blissey does go down, but there needs to be way too much scoring for this one to turn around.
Oh, it's really interesting to see they just left home base there, instead trying to go and push, but you have OYASUMI Makuro right behind them. 3 members of OYASUMI are down though. 25 seconds left on the clock. The Lapras Express, they are trying to rush on in, possibly get in some last-minute dunks, but are they going to be able to do it?
Reggie goes down to Inteleon. Ton is getting in range. They're using the Unite move from Inteleon, and they're dealing out so much damage. ENTITY7 needs to score not only here, but on future goal zones as well. But Mame and Ton holding down this goal zone, putting up a picture-perfect defense, and OYASUMI Makuro starts off this match 1-0.
And did you see that? A 4 KO straight from that Inteleon as well.
Incredible from them. What a start, and a reminder to everyone, if OYASUMI Makuro can win this match, they are qualified for top 8. They are now 1 game away from heading into day number 2. All right, let's send it over to our analysts to break this match down.
Woo! They got a little dicey there at the end, but really, really great match for OYASUMI Makuro.
Yeah, you know, I'd say slicey and dicey was kind of the way that it went overall. That Zacian, so good. And look at how many fans there are out there in the crowd. But wow, that was looking a little bit dicey, exactly like you said. One of these graphs, you know, this is like a Season 1 graph.
Yeah, this was very much a Zapdos graph right here. That fight really went well for OYASUMI Makuro, which, you know, incredible stuff from them. ENTITY7, it felt like they had an opportunity to claw their way back right there at the end, but they really had some tough sledding in front of them. So many points from OYASUMI Makuro, and man, they just had such an amazing Ray fight.
Yeah, I mean, there were some great team fights all together from ENTITY7, but yeah, they just weren't able to pull together in the final one. So let's take a look at the damage, and oh my gosh, I thought that we were going to see a little bit more out of some of the melee on OYASUMI OYASUMI Makuro, but Tong on the 117,000 damage Inteleon. That is pretty ridiculous.
Inteleon is an amazing Pokemon, and when it really has room to run and hit every single one of those liquidations, it's just going to stack up huge damage numbers. You also saw it in that final fight, use that Unite move and just start hunting members of Entity 7 down.
I feel like that's the real kind of next level of skill involved with Inteleon, is using that Unite, because it's so weird, right? Like, nobody knows how to actually use it at first, and now these teams are starting to say, okay, this is exactly how we do it. So we can take a look at the highlights. Maybe there will be some examples of that in there, but I mean, I knew that it was a really strong Inteleon game. I didn't realize it was quite that strong.
Yeah, incredible game here from OYASUMI Makuro. Just one game away from securing their spot in the top 8, as we see some great fights from both these squads. Of course, Urshifu doing a lot of work as well for Makuro.
Yeah, I thought maybe Urshifu was going to be the one topping damage. I was definitely wrong. But still, I mean, incredible amount from the Urshifu, incredible amount from the Zacian. Again, Zacian, despite the fact that it wasn't like 117k Zacian, it's such a hard thing to answer when it's in the hands of OYASUMI Makuro. They are just so good at taking advantage of that Pokemon and the space that it creates. When it moves up, you have to deal with it. It allows the Inteleon in the back to get a ton of extra damage. It's just looking so good. This comp, everything that OYASUMI Makuro has been doing today is looking really good.
Yeah, now Entity went into this final fight actually ahead right here. They were in kind of a solid position, but they dive in for this moment and they do not make it out. This is just an incredible, choke point right there for OYASUMI Makuro. They rip through their team, and even though they do have a push here at the end to try to come back, it's just a little too late for them and a little too little on the scoreboard. OYASUMI Makuro taking game number 1.
Yeah, where you initiate is so important, and that was just one of those tough spots, but that's the best you can do. Sometimes you just don't have the opportunity to engage exactly where you want to be. We can see who the player of the game is. It's Ton GG on that Inteleon. Of course, a huge amount of score on top of all of that damage. What can I say? We expected going into this weekend, Inteleon was going to be either banned or picked basically every single game. We've seen that so far.
Yeah, I thought Inteleon was going to be one of the power Pokemon in this tournament, whether or not a team was able to utilize it correctly or not utilize it correctly. And we've seen, whether you're playing Snipe Shot, whether you're playing Liquidation, and of course, the early game from this Pokemon, we've just seen such a dominant performance from it all weekend. And then, of course, other big-name Pokemon inside that match. We had Lapras, we had Zoroark, we had Alolan Ninetales, so there was a lot going on inside that game. OYASUMI one match away from securing their spot right now.
And again, that's so huge. To be a 4th seed qualifying, that is just an amazing statement. So here we go. Game number 2, the draft and ban phase is beginning, and it's looking like there's some shifting around, but maybe the Umbreon and maybe the Hoopa.
It looks like Tong is considering banning that Mewtwo, and I think, you know what, I'm sure you could ban it. I don't think there'd be anything wrong with banning that Pokemon. I mean, you're just kind of reinforcing the rules of the tournament there at that point.
Yeah, that would be a flex, I do have to say. And the Lapras first pick, a very much expected first pick. Now, we'll see. The big question to me is, are we going to actually see the Slowbro this time around? Because it has just been completely passed up within this set so far.
It looks like the bird is the word for Entity 7. They might be bringing out Dodrio and Inteleon. So 2 incredibly strong Pokemon, tons of burst damage, just in very different ways for the side of Entity 7. As we have some more lock-ins coming here from Makuro. We have possibly a Leafeon that we saw banned out game number 1.
Right, maybe this is going to be the opportunity to take it, but what do you pair it with? Oh, is it going to be Zacian and Mini Zacian? Yes, it will. This is going to be a very scary set of dive, I guess you could say, Pokemon in general. If you are anywhere in that back line, you are just going to be scared for your life the entire time.
Yeah, and the question is, what are we going to bring in from a defender here? I would love to see a Slowbro, I have to be honest. I think it's solid into Leafeon and pretty solid into Zacian, but it looks like it is not preferred as we get ourselves a Trevenant. My goodness, look at this squad from OYASUMI Makuro. If this is Urshifu Blissey, I mean, just what a terrifying lineup.
I actually would have loved Clefable and Urshifu here, because you can literally kill everybody. I mean, this is a full melee comp essentially. So I feel like that would have been really good. But the Blissey's equally disgustingly good, right? I feel like they are getting everything that they wanted. I feel like OYASUMI Makuro got both in this draft and the previous draft everything they wanted.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm looking at these two teams, I would be more excited to be on the side of OYASUMI Makuro. I'd also be terrified to be with ENTITY7 because I don't know if they turn on me at any moment. But this is a really solid setup from both teams. I love the draft from OYASUMI right here. We are going to send this thing over to our casters extraordinaires. Zoinks, Kellosaurus, take us to game.
Thank you so much, Spraggles. Here we go, Kello. Game number 2 between two incredibly talked about teams. OYASUMI Makuro and ENTITY7 really earning some big reputations headed into this weekend. Well, and currently, OYASUMI Makuro definitely living up to the name.
Oh, they are definitely living up to the name, living up to the hype.
Absolutely.
I must say. But as we head on into game 2, obviously, we do have ENTITY7. Their place is on the line.
Exactly. ENTITY7 needs to win this game before we can even have that tiebreaker conversation. On the other side, though, OYASUMI Makuro also just as much wants to win this game, so we don't even have to open up that can of worms. This draft was really interesting. I mean, it really feels like ENTITY7 went for that comfort pick strategy, and OYASUMI Makuro just grabbed all of the good stuff. It really seems to be lining up that way. ENTITY7 did come away with an Inteleon, though.
Sounds like a shopping spree at the Pokémon Center. Wouldn't you say? You just want to stuff everything in your bag, everything that's good. Gotta grab it all. Gotta grab all those good Pokémon. But as we head on into game 2, OYASUMI Makuro from Japan, ENTITY7 from Latin North. Let's go, Zoinks.
And look at this change-up already from OYASUMI Makuro, expecting the invade that's going to be coming in from ENTITY7, and we see here the Phantom is making their way through. We give the Blissey to help that clear be a little bit faster, make that red buff knocked out immediately. However, Minato is most likely going to be stealing away this blue buff. A slight chance from P to grab it, but no, Hitman actually is going to grab it with that Duo.
Ooh, living up to their name there. Hitman indeed, and escaping with 1 HP and a dream.
Yeah, it's not easy to escape from a station with 1 HP or any. So great play there from the ENTITY7 to get a little bit of a red buff and get out of danger. A nice little exchange. Sweet, though, on this Zacian. It's actually going to be bringing their presence to the bottom path in game number 2. A little bit of a switch-up, but I think the matchup into Trevenant is amazing.
Oh, definitely amazing indeed. But look at this. We do have an Urshifu that is here to support this Zacian. They are going to put the pressure on this Phantom that can do nothing but try and retreat. And now they are going and taking their Bunnelbees.
Oh, my word. Rapid Strike Urshifu is so good at playing in any part of the map. Flux zone or no. A great little advance. And P, by the way, has been one of those players that we have heard so much about. On the Urshifu is their signature pick, and they truly are a different level. Even trying to invade Reggie's central area, and you can see a blue buff below them, so clearly it went pretty well on the bottom side of this central area.
I guess that's the thing. It's an all-rounder. Is it a speedster? Is it a supporter? Is it a defender? It can just do the lot.
Absolutely. And I mean, the damage it's done so far has also been fantastic. They're going to try to take this 1v1. Reggie's going to try to join this matchup. However, Lapras is a really tough target to try to shut down with this big burst damage. In fact, they take so much from Zacian, who gets the chase down, but Reggie able to escape until a Solar Blade comes out of nowhere. Ton with a huge play.
Ton, that was beautiful. And look at this, we still have a Phantom that hasn't evolved. It is honestly not very useful at this point, coming up against a Zacian, a Lapras. That is one troublesome tree.
Absolutely. I mean, stuck at level 4 is obviously an interesting mechanic, of course, in Pokemon Unite. You need to hit a wild Pokemon knockout or a score if you want to evolve at these breakpoints. Being engaged by Hitman, but they're immediately shut down by this Lapras. Too many stuns, both Sacred Sword and the Ice Beam slowing them down in that spot, not able to escape. And already, OYASUMI Makuro seems to have a huge lead even before the 7-minute mark.
Oh, they does look like they have a huge lead, but we do have the basement Reggie that is about to spawn in 10 seconds. Obviously, they have these levels. 2 level 8s, Zacian and Urshifu, and now the Leafeon as well. They are a dominant force that you do not want to come across. No, we're scared of ENTITY7, but I think we might don't need to be scared of OYASUMI Makuro right now.
ENTITY7 sure looks like it. They're having to play so careful and defensive, even allowing so many smaller scores happen on that goal zone. And now they're going to just give Reggie a little bit more space, not bring them down to this basement Reggie fight. We have this big engagement. Sasha has Sacred Sword hit so many targets as they are trying to cook Lapras finds the knockout there. And the Phantom is knocked out yet again. Urshifu cleans up that Reggie rock, and now they have an even bigger experience lead. OYASUMI Makuro is running away with this one, Kello.
Ooh, they are running away, and now they are going to run to this top half as that Reggie Alecki is waiting right there. But we have Zoroark making sure to take their red buff before going and engaging, just trying to get those levels.
And against these Japanese teams in particular, your buffs are never easy pickings. They are constantly trying to invade at these midpoint and on parts of the game to try to steal away any experience they can and really shut down your comeback mechanics. Zacian trying to chase down this Zoroark for the speed. A little bit too much, they get away, but he is working in the background. Urshifu finds one, Lapras finds another, and OYASUMI Makuro is really popping off here in the top half.
Oh, they are popping off indeed, and Zoroark ends up going down. We have Inteleon trying to use that liquidation, but it wasn't able to stop those dunks, and now we have those two Tier 1 goals gone.
Yeah, 2 Tier 1 goals gone. A score lead is massive, and the level lead might be even worse right now. Only Reggie is close to double-digit levels, and they're still sitting at 9, and everybody else is below that at this point for ENTITY7. OYASUMI Makuro has found a lead every single time, and in part, I think it's come down to 1v1 team fights mostly.
Well, 1v1, we'll have to wait and see. But look at this Solar Blade trying to chip away at the Elder Gods. Not much it can do there besides retreat on back, wait for its team. But look at this. We have Urshifu just soloing the Reggie Alecki, showing that it can do exactly what a Zasha can do.
Exactly. Lapras Express is going to be bringing Zacian to this team fight. However, pretty solid Horn Leech into Woodhammer combination to buy a little bit of time. Steven there with the Unite move out of the Inteleon to try to put in a ton of damage, but it's not quite enough. Lapras is going to escape from that team fight as Reggie is trying to take a fight in the top half. However, of course, it's OYASUMI Makuro coming away in the advantage state here as Urshifu gets a KO streak of 2, and they are going to be chasing down Hitman, who's a little bit too fast, but the Zacian's got that cleanup.
That Zacian was on the hunt with the sword, and with such little HP, there is not much you can do. Zoroark diving on, thinking they are the better dog there, but no, ends up getting cut down by the sword.
Yet again, just so much damage. Look at how that Sacred Sword is placed, not even as an offensive tool, but just kind of cover your retreat a little bit. Great play there from OYASUMI Makuro, utilizing these little mechanics to put themselves ahead. Mame does go down. Blissey is knocked out. However, the Urshifu is ready to take this fight. They are currently trying to fight this one 1v3. They take one. They're trying to chase down Hitman, and with the Helmization, they're going to fight 2. A 1v3 engage comes away with a team fight victory. OYASUMI Makuro is crazy right now.
Holy moly, that was insane. Pee-wee is popping off right now. Ooh, Zoroark goes in, takes that red buff, but ends up getting shut down by that Solar Blade. So I don't know if that was really worth the risk.
Ton has been a little bit quieter on this game in terms of the Leafeon compared to their Inteleon of game number 1. However, they're still sitting at level 12, and I'm sure the damage numbers at the end of the game are reflected. Look at that little bit of Razor Leaf to dodge the Woodhammer instance. Really nice mechanics here from these Japanese teams on stage.
All right, putting that Zacian on that objective duty, securing themselves a Reggie Ice. But you know what? We have double digits all on the side of OYASUMI Makuro in terms of their level. We still only have 2 level 9s on the side of ENTITY7 right now.
Oh, it's a big problem that ENTITY7 is going to need to solve. But however, they're going to keep on these team fights. I'm very impressed with their tenacity at the very least. Lapras is going to be taking a whole lot of damage. They're going to get the chase out. That final Perish Sun tick does not hit Mitato, so they're going to be able to escape. They're going to reset all the way back to base as Reggie is just trying to clear their central area. But everyone from OYASUMI Makuro is trying to make that not happen.
Look, sharing is caring, right?
Yeah, for one team, yeah.
You've just got to share your experience, so...
Okay, no problem. We're going to be having a quick little pause, by the way. These teams are just going to sort something technical out, but I'm excited to see the finale of this match. Obviously, this game has been so competitive so far. Really, OYASUMI Makuro have such an important but an amazing performance so far. ENTITY7 showcasing some great talent as well, but this matchup so far has been all Oyasumi Macro all the time.
I must say, they are an aggressive force.
Yes.
They are just up in your face. Obviously, the Urshifu, but also having the Zacian by its side as well to just finish off any Pokemon that are there. And you know, you do not want to come across that combo.
Oh, absolutely not. Yeah, the combination is kind of wild because there's so many different combinations that they can throw at them. I was mentioning Tone having a little bit of a quieter performance, but that does not mean that they are out of this team fight in any way. That Solar Blade is something that that Entity7 has had to dodge time and time again, and well, when Tone is able to land them, that is surely a knockout coming the other way. OYASUMI Macro just really putting on such a performance here on the main stage. It has been so fun to watch them so far.
I feel like you could say it's the silent but deadly combination
There
that
you go.
Ton is showing right now on that Leafeon. He's just lurking in the bushes there. You know, being that Leafeon, it kind of camouflages, right?
Exactly.
Unsuspecting.
Exactly. Yeah, AOR running that Speedster, which of course is going to be that short-range burst damage a lot of the time in Pokemon Unite, but it's working really well for them so far. And take a look at this. We, of course, are a part of the Pokemon World Championships, a lot of titles, but of course, a lot of players from around the world coming here together to celebrate Pokemon, to celebrate competition. And I mean, Pokemon Unite is just one part of that, but I gotta say, it might be my favorite part. It's been a whole lot of fun, Kella.
Definitely a lot of fun. And what better place to celebrate Pokemon than the birthplace, Japan, Yokohama. But can I say, these banners, they look spectacular.
Yeah, it's true. That is true. I mean, decoration is definitely something we'll give a 10 stars for this event. It has been so fun so far, and we have had a lot of competitive matches to really spice these things up too. Now, this group is really coming down to be defined by this game, OYASUMI Macro versus Entity7. With the game going the way it has so far in this match, it definitely seems favored towards that team. Obviously, they have been so strong. But we're going to be jumping back into the game. Here we go. A final 2 minutes and 20 seconds. OYASUMI Macro still holding on to a very large lead.
Oh, they do have that large lead. But you know what? We are about to come into that final stretch. I believe there is a green dragon that is about to spawn, and we have seen games being flipped on over when a Rayquaza is secure.
That's true. Entity7 has showcased a lot of talent in these final moments before. Let's see if they can do it again. Dodrio takes a ton of damage. However, that Eldegoss Cotton Guard is going to be healing up a little bit of that impact. However, that engagement has earned OYASUMI Macro all the space they could have ever wanted. Look at this. Entity7's all the way back in their bottom tier too.
Yes, but they are just clumping together. They are possibly looking to just be a wrecking ball, but it's also a dangerous composition. You do not want to be caught out by one big Solar Blade in a big chunk.
Right, exactly. And now this is Reggie Sorok's chance to shine. However, Blissey is going to shut down the initial engagement, but the Blissey is down. Entity7 comes away with 2 KOs to start this team fight. Now is the time for them to really pop off. Reggie gets another one. The Urshifu is down. Lapras is taking so much damage, and the turn and burn strategy from Entity7 is here. They take down all 5, and now Rayquaza is the attention. Entity7 all of a sudden with a chance in this game.
This is the wrecking ball that I was just talking about. Obviously, being able to stick together, support together, you know, stick together, stay together. That is what they've done. Now it's just a matter of getting these dunks in. We have 380 on the clock now to 234. OYASUMI Macro, they're going to have to turn it around and get in some extra dunks.
You can never count a team like OYASUMI Macro out of the game, but we couldn't have really made a tougher position for them. However, more dunks go in from Entity7, and all of a sudden, this team from Latin America North now has a fighting chance here in the World Championships to make it out of their group. We are going to be tied up 1-1 unless OYASUMI Macro can find a way to score. Right now, all they're trying to do is break that Rayquaza shield on the Zoroark and try to stop one scoring potential, but with only 15 seconds left in this match, it feels like we're all finished up. Entity7 have just tied this game 1-1.
I must say, we have had so many Game 3 situations today. And I mean, you wouldn't expect anything less from the World Championships, but Entity7, they still are in this.
Entity7 with their backs against the wall in the truest way, able to push through into the final moments and make that game their own. What a match. No one expected that result at the end, least of all OYASUMI Macro, as now this matchup is tied 1-1. Let's throw it over to our analysts to break that one all down.
Ooh, well, you couldn't have wanted it to go another way if you want to see a game number 3. What a final fight from E7.
I know, what a... Well, I mean, honestly, I cannot believe that they managed to not only win that fight, but dominate that fight,
Yes.
right? That is the biggest difference between that game potentially being like, well, we maybe can make it back, or like, we win, right? And they won exactly how we see it. Right here on the graph, I mean, look at how many of the goal zones are destroyed within that little last few seconds.
I count at least 3 there, Wonder Chef. There could be more that I'm not seeing, but incredible stuff from ENTITY7. And yeah, I mean, it really looked like Entity was out of this match. They were in so much trouble. OYASUMI felt like they had control of this entire game, but these final moments matter so much. The decisions you make near the end of the match matter so much. ENTITY7 found the exact right moment to win this thing.
And you can see even on the damage, there is some really, really strong damage from OYASUMI Makuro, but Entity, they had to bring theirs up kind of in the end. I mean, a great way to stay holding on, especially when you're now against what is considered maybe one of the best teams in the world in OYASUMI Makuro, to be down a game, down so many points, down so many levels, and then still hold on solidly. This is why ENTITY7 is a team that I have been really putting up there.
Yeah, let's take a look at some of the big moments from this match. And throughout the start of it here, it's going to be a highlight reel for OYASUMI Makuro because they were just dominating for such a long time.
Yeah, there really is no other way to put it. I mean, this is a scary comp. We talked about it when we looked at the draft, but not only is there Zacian and Leafeon, but also the Urshifu and the Lapras. Everybody is just going to dive that backline, and it's going to be such a strong early game, and that's exactly what we did see. But then once they survived all the way to the late game, that's when things started to change in the favor of ENTITY7, and not even really that much. It really, really took one big final fight right here to make it happen.
Yeah, huge fight right here from ENTITY7. That drill peck, massive, right into the boosted. You can see Zacian getting taken down on the top left of your screen right there. And then as soon as Lapras goes down, incredible stuff. They dump it 600. Ah! Oh, it's ENTITY7 right there. Scared me.
It's okay. It's
a
okay.
jump scare.
You can go hide right now. There's a player in the game. Don't look at the screen right now. There's another ENTITY7 player. Yeah, I don't want you to be, I know you're very sensitive to this kind of stuff, but Reggie is the player of the game on the Zoroark. Zoroark, I'm stealing your line for that one. Since I'm next to you, you don't get to do it all that often. We're never together on camera. So, I mean, very, very strong in the entirety of this group, I would say.
Yeah, incredible stuff, obviously, and they must be feeling good on stage right now. They just gave themselves a lifeline. We are heading here to a game number 3. Truly, I hope the people smarter than us backstage are crunching the numbers and they know what is happening right here. This is being taken to a game 3, and by the way, we are seeing so many teams take it to a game number 3. These regions are so incredibly close all across the world. It's incredible.
Have we seen any 2-0s on broadcast?
The only one I remember was Luminosity and Time to Shine. That was the only 2-0.
That's right. And that was, yeah, that looked like it. No, it wasn't. No, wait. You were right. Luminosity lost the game to somebody, right?
They lost the game to S8UL Esports.
That's what it was, yeah. So almost all 3 game 3s. But again, just to kind of remind everybody what the situation is. So this is a 3-person group, and now we've had Kumu defeat ENTITY7. We've had OYASUMI Makuro defeat Kumu. So now if ENTITY7 defeats OYASUMI Makuro, it's a 3-way tie. And also on top of that, every match that's happened so far has gone to a game 3. So if this is a win, it is 3 game 3s. I have no idea what the tiebreaker is. Don't ever ask me. Do not at me on Twitter. I will not answer you.
I feel like if it were up to me, I'd give it to ENTITY7, but that's just because I'm worried about what they would do if I didn't give it to ENTITY7. It's getting pretty crazy, and obviously, this is like a starter Pokemon situation, you know?
Yeah.
ENTITY7 is the Bulbasaur, and OYASUMI Makuro may be the Squirtle. It's just, this is a situation where one beats one beats the other, one beats the other, as we get ready for our next match right here.
Oh, very much decider right now. This is going to be very, very exciting. I mean, we're going to have, of course, the chance now to qualify guaranteed for OYASUMI Makuro, assuming that they can actually win this. OYASUMI Makuro on the right side. On the left side is going to be ENTITY7, and we're going to see the ban of the Zoroark. I do like that a lot, realizing that it's just such a strong pick in the hands of ENTITY7.
And we have a Lapras first pick, something we've been seeing all day. I think this Pokemon is just one of the most dominant things that you're going to see here in Unite right now, especially in this competitive environment. But Umbreon, Inteleon, no slouches either. You got some Eons over there for sure.
Eons of victories. It seems like we've been seeing from Eons, even though they're two of the newest Pokemon in the game, but they're just doing so well. All right, there's no way we see the Mamoswine, right? This is definitely a troll pick. Yeah, we're going to see the Eldegoss, another solid pick, the Dodrio doing really well. It doesn't seem like these teams are really changing up their strategies all that much from what we've seen so far, at least.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it worked for ENTITY7 last time, and, you know, OYASUMI Makuro, they had a great game too, actually. They just kind of fumbled at the goal line right there. We're going to see how they want to close these picks out. We obviously have the Urshifu, the Blissey, incredibly powerful from OYASUMI. We're basically seeing a little bit of a run back here. No way.
Hold on.
Hitman bring this out.
Is this for real? Is this for real? We've seen a few other... Whoa, it's happening!
Let's go.
Absol and Goodra! Okay, this is... I said we don't see anything very different. I was wrong. I'm leaving.
Okay, that's right. You heard it here. Chef is quitting right now mid-broadcast. We've never had this happen before, but he has to because he's been so wrong in this moment. I have to say,
It's true.
This is incredible. I cannot wait to see this match. I did not expect the team to pull out Absol. I expected to maybe see some Goodra later today, but we are seeing it right now. We have got to get this thing over to Zoinks and Kello. I know you have to fill out some exit paperwork, so let's send it on over to them right now.
What on earth, Kello, are we looking at? This draft got real wild real quick there at the end.
Look, the thing is, they are at a game 3. They have to pull out all stops, all those things up their sleeves. I cannot wait to see how this Absol, but Goodra, this defender we've obviously seen. Lapras, Umbreon, being that dominant force along with Slowbro, but this is a first for Goodra, and I cannot wait.
Yeah, tournament debut for this Pokemon. Of course, it has had some recent buffs and changes, and it's had some competitive success as well in some grassroots tournaments where, of course, NAIC was maybe where we saw a little bit of the Goodra's impact. Now, it is a very interesting Pokemon when used competitively against some of the top teams. That Power Whip Dragon Pulse combination is a really good play from these teams, and well, it gives a lot of healing over towards whatever Pokemon is going to be handling that. So let's see what Tun's ability is on this Goodra. I'm so excited to watch it in action.
Oh, I am definitely excited to see. I think everybody is excited, but otherwise we do have that Absol going and taking that central area, but do we see a Snorlax invade once again?
Yeah, it looks like they're going to be making their way across, so very impressive. I'm impressed by this game so far. So already, Minato going to be trying to take away this red buff. Snorlax trying to pull it off, but going up against 2, that's a tough spot to be.
That is definitely a tough spot to be, but you know what? They are just wasting that time. Thankfully, we did have that cover being able to get their buffs. We have the Gumi just trying to apply some pressure here onto this Lapras. And look at this. Snorlax goes in, dives in, and was trying to take a nap, but unfortunately ends up getting shut down.
Yeah, gets shut down in that situation. Steven doing a lot of early damage with this Lapras. However, that is a tough spot to be when you're trying to 1v2 in those scenarios. However, it's just a poor Gossifleur trying to get in some early damage, but Lot's doing a pretty decent job there, pushing away the enemy team, but not an Urshifu. Gets a bunch of early damage and then chooses to pivot to the score.
Oh, there we go. We have the Absol coming on in, but you know what? It wasn't able to get any damage as we had the evolution from the Blissey. And now 2 members of ENTITY7 are down. It's only the Lapras to try and take on this Urshifu as the Gumi and the Blissey take those birds for themselves.
He has been amazing so far today, and so has the support play from OYASUMI Makuro. Makuro making it happen here on this enemy goal zone, holding ENTITY7 to just a Gossa floor on the other side. The early game has been the biggest, I think, bright spot from OYASUMI Makuro in this tournament so far, and you can see why. This aggressive positioning on enemy goal zones, even before the 8-minute mark, has been so good.
Look, the thing is, there is a lot on the line for this match. Obviously, it is that third one, but we do have a mean look Umbreon on the side of OYASUMI Makuro. The Inteleon has opted for that liquidation, was trying to lock down the Nindidi, but it ended up getting denied.
There we go. Now, OYASUMI Makuro is playing so well in this tournament so far, and we do have an update from our competitive rulings. By winning game number 1, OYASUMI Makuro has confirmed a day 2 spot. So they have already secured this. ENTITY7, of course, playing for placement, playing for some cash. However, this game, OYASUMI Makuro goes to top 8 tomorrow.
Oh, well, that is some exciting news, but you know what? They are still going to battle it out. As you said, there is still that placement on the line, a possibility for some cash here. But we do have those Swablues and Altira that are spawning on in. Drill Peck to just take them down. And now Mean Look is going to catch out this Eldegoss.
Yeah, Mame with a very forward presence there, just really setting up for the Urshifu to come in after the swing. He actually still has this Unite move, by the way, so this advance is not done quite yet. They charge in onto Lost to try to find a KO into the Eldegoss, but not going to find that one instead. They are able to escape, but they're not done with this team fight. They're going to take it to Selgor, and that's a heck of a consolation prize.
Yes, that is quite the prize indeed, but we do have that basement Reggie that has spawned, and that is another prize that you want to lock on down for your team.
Exactly. Unite move here from the side of OYASUMI Makuro. Inteleon charging forward. Sweet getting so much damage. Those critical hits raining in. And now the goal zone is also shattered. ENTITY7 have no place to retreat to other than their tier 2 as they charge back to try to earn some experience and catch up a little bit in this game.
Now, we do have Kiwi here on the Urshifu trying to solo this Reg Ice. Nobody here to contest it, while the rest of OYASUMI Makuro ends up opting for that top tier 1 push.
Yeah, looks like they're raining in some scores and also getting some knockouts on the other side. Great Unite move by Mame to steal away a bit of that shielding as Sweet actually receives a Bliss assistance, and that's enough to find 1 KO into Dodrio and a pretty large overdunk here. 32 points for OYASUMI Makuro in the top half as they are holding on to an impressive lead.
Oh, it's all about those overdunks late game. You want to make sure that you capitalize on those tiers as much as possible.
Absolutely, yeah, you can hold on to those, and that's a Gudra invade happening on the other side of the map, by the way. OYASUMI Makuro definitely trying to hold on to this lead whatever means possible, as Gudra is currently 1v3 in the enemy central area, and they get 1. I believe that's a Muddy Water build as well as the Power Whip, and they are getting 2 as well. OYASUMI Makuro just trying to skill dip ENTITY7 in the enemy central area right now. This is absurd.
This is absolutely absurd as they are trying to take down this Lapras. It is getting hit by those egg mobs, getting chucked on back. Finally ends up going down. We have Reggie Alecki knocking on the doorstep of tier 2 here, and now OYASUMI Makuro, they are being the wrecking ball force that we saw in that last game that ENTITY7 showed us.
ENTITY7 only has 2 goal zones left, and one of those can't be broken. I'm sure OYASUMI Makuro would have tried to charge down even far more forward if they could, but what an early game lead from OYASUMI Makuro. We are now officially past the halfway point of this game, and ENTITY7's win conditions are shrinking by the minute. They really need to find a big KO onto preferably the Inteleon to the Urshifu to earn back some comeback experience. I'd love to see some specific target fire from there. However, we do have a Group E update. MJK has beaten Team MYS, meaning I believe that MJK is the successful team in Group E.
Well, that is pretty exciting, but we also have a pretty exciting fight happening right here. Inteleon being able to get a 2 KO streak there. But you know what? 3 level 12s on the side of OYASUMI Makuro. The highest level on the side of ENTITY7 is that Absol.
Oh my word, yeah, Absol at level 11. It doesn't really hold a candle to a couple of all of the level 12s, and now a level 13 on the other side. As yet again, we just really pushing into the enemy with no signs of stopping. One bubble beam is going to slow you down, but if you're earning a Reggie steal and even stopping a goal zone on the other side and coming away with 2 knockouts, 2v4, and right now, Hui is getting so much value.
Look, I feel like Gudra was able to shine with those 1v3s, but now we have Urshifu trying to demonstrate that capability as well.
ENTITY7 is playing so far from behind right now. OYASUMI Makuro is dominating this game, and it's not particularly close. However, a Snorlax engage comes away with one knockout, so that's some experience sent the other way. But these are respawning Pokemon trying to join this team fight, and one by one, they're getting shut down. OYASUMI Makuro asking, who is next? We will defeat whoever enters our battlefield.
That Gudra is whipping it back and forth. I must say, it's always very comedic to see opposing Pokemon trying to make an escape, but ends up getting whipped on back.
Exactly. I mean, OYASUMI Makuro going for essentially a moral victory at this point. They have, of course, qualified for top 8 tomorrow, but they are trying to show ENTITY7 that they are truly one of the best in the world. So Drio pushing around that Gudra, they're caught in the mean look, but if Bliss's Senses is going to earn some shields, and Urshifu is going to find the damage. OYASUMI Makuro ain't done yet. That's a fight at 240 right now, and they are absolutely demolishing ENTITY7. That's a KO streak of 4. Do we get a full 5? No! Unfortunately, Inteleon steals the Penta.
Or they are demolishing indeed, and now because they do not have that tier 2 pad buffer, this Regieleki, that's going to make its way down to that home base and put ENTITY7 in a very dangerous position. 20 seconds until the final stretch.
I talked about ENTITY7's win conditions shrinking quite a bit in the midway point of this game. That is still true here. However, they are not completely out of them. Of course, Rayquaza going to earn themselves a whole lot of shield and scoring chances if they're able to find that knockout. And with an Absol on your team, their Unite move is definitely one of the best last-minute game secures that is in the match right now. So that could be a big moment. Mame with a very forward presence to earn some vision. Ton the same in that bottom corridor. Great defensive positioning from OYASUMI Makuro.
Yes, well, the thing is, we do have a little bit of a split push here. We have Absol already at half HP. The Bliss Assistants hopping onto that Urshifu, and now they are on the chase for this Snorlax. Power Whip once again, yoinking it back.
Tone with some crazy positioning so far forward after seeing that split push like you were just mentioning. Gets right in the middle and shuts that push down. We even have Kui actually pushing towards the top path in case ENTITY7 tries to back cap, but as soon as they have vision of no one being around that goal zone, they're able to rotate back and just get a little bit of experience and try to be ready for this final fight. Tone, again, is just an immovable wall as they find a KO onto Eldegoss as well.
Oh, an immovable wall indeed. They are using this Muddy Water Power Whip combination beautifully. Still at that full HP mark. There is only a minute left on the clock. ENTITY7, they need to make a move. They either need to get some back caps here into this top T1 pad, but you have Urshifu waiting in that tall grass for an ambush.
They need to all in onto the main objective of Rayquaza, but how do you even get there? Mame holding down one corridor and Ton holding down another. They read the push, they try to capitalize onto it. Hitman gets into the middle around that Rayquaza pit, but they don't quite have the burn damage to break down the Rayquaza far enough. Reggie is already down. That was their main secure tool, and OYASUMI Makuro takes them out of the fight immediately. Minato goes down as well. Mame finds that knockout, as for there's only one member left, and Steven is down, and Rayquaza secured by OYASUMI Makuro. Who else to do it than the Gudra of Tone?
And look at that. That is a team wipe, so there are no members from ENTITY7 to try and break these shields. It is just free hundo burgers all around for OYASUMI Makuro.
The math may have already been done before we got into this game, but now it is a sure thing. OYASUMI Makuro defeating ENTITY7 2-1 has now confirmed OYASUMI Makuro into the top 8 bracket for tomorrow. Congratulations to them. ENTITY7 going to be exiting this tournament, however, having a very exciting performance, really showcasing the talent from this region on the main stage.
Oh, definitely indeed, and you can just hear the crowd go wild. Definitely one of the favorites from today. I think we need to go and have a look at these stats.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at the breakdown of this matchup. But I mean, in terms of breakdown of the tournament, we now have 2 Japanese teams qualified for that top 8 bracket. Both Team MJK and Team OYASUMI Makuro making it there. Be a very exciting day 2. Taking a look at that scoreline, I mean, we were saying that the whole match, all match long, it was OYASUMI Makuro's game to win. The scoreline might not be too ridiculous, but that's mostly because OYASUMI Makuro was getting knockouts in the enemy central area from what seemed like 5 minutes on.
no, they were just invading their space, taking it all up. And you can see just that flat line there that ENTITY7 had. And then, obviously, Rayquaza being secured, they just shot up at the end, just broadening that gap even further.
Yeah, ENTITY7 doing some gambles in draft with that Absol. However, it unfortunately didn't look as good as we wanted it to. Taking a look at those damage numbers, P again with 125,000. Tone, though, on this Goodra with 119,000 damage dealt.
That is absolutely insane. And you could see that they were definitely in the face of ENTITY7 at all opportunities.
And this isn't only a flex pick as well, right? If you're looking at this Goodra, it's an amazing counter dive Pokemon. If those Pokemon are going to jump at you, Goodra is one of the best to just repel those Pokemon immediately. Take a look at our highlight package because I want to see the OYASUMI Macro qualification game a second time.
All right, we can obviously see here early game making sure to get in those stacks and just the dominating presence that OYASUMI Makuro had.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, this game was so exciting so far. Umbreon getting one knockout there as yet again, OYASUMI Makuro just won those team fights so handedly. I felt like the start of the game was all about these 1v1s, but near the end of the game, it was just team fight after team fight of all 5 of OYASUMI Makuro making it their own.
Oh, and look at this. That was such an incredible moment, seeing that Goodra to take on 1v3, and it took so long to take down.
Oh my word. I mean, I don't know if it did get taken down. As soon as it got to that Goodra evolution, it felt like it was impossible to knock out. These corridors were truly OYASUMI Makro's home base, as every time ENTITY7 entered into those spots, it really felt like they were immediately shut down the other direction. Amazing, amazing macro and micro gameplay from this Japanese team. Again, the 4th seed of this region, but they have earned a reputation far greater than that, proving that here on our main stage.
Yes, they have definitely met that reputation indeed. But you know what? Look at this crowd. They are obviously cheering for them and everything. It is a sight to see. But player of this game for this match is Tonji.